At our national convention in Reno last year, DAV's membership elected a true leader to serve as our national commander. Like those who've gone on before him, Dennis Nixon knows the importance of ensuring elected officials honor their responsibility to our nation's sick and disabled veterans. Commander Nixon enlisted in the Marines in 1964 at the age of 17. Excuse me? Yeah, we needed a break, didn't we? Thank you for that break. He trained to become a combat engineer and was stationed in California. On patrol near Da Nang, Vietnam in 1969, while on his second combat tour, he tripped a booby trap. As a result of his injuries to his abdomen and leg, he underwent 8 surgeries. After months in the hospital, his leg was amputated. After a medical retirement from the Marine Corps in 1970, Commander Nixon became a DAV National Service Officer and dedicated 36 years to helping his fellow veterans obtain the benefits they earn. Since retirement from the DAV professional staff, Commander Nixon has continued to serve as a volunteer, assisting in the certification training of department and chapter service officers, as well as mentoring NSO trainees in Waco, Texas. Commander Nixon served in various leadership capacities at both the chapter and department levels, including serving as judge advocate for the Department of Texas. He served as a National Executive Committee and on the DAV Charitable Service Trust Boards of Directors. Commander Nixon has been an active DAV member for nearly 50 years. His decades of experience and expertise has influenced new generations of members and service officers, and in turn helped countless veterans and their families. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's give a warm applause for our national commander, Dennis Nixon.
Good morning. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for that warm welcome. It's a pleasure to be here with you this morning for our annual State Commanders and Adjutants Association Midwinter Conference. And before I go too far, I just want to make one thing clear. I did not see that booby trap before I tripped it. That's important to note because I don't want anyone to think I saw it as an opportunity to get home quicker. I'll admit that when I did get home, I caused quite a bit of ruckus with the doctors and nurses at the VA medical centers that were providing my care. Truth is, sometimes I wish I could go back and tell them, sorry, that'll never happen again. I'm talking about the booby trap part, not the ruckus. Because knowing me, at some point, somewhere, I will cause a ruckus again. In fact, that's why I'm here today, to ask you all to help me to do just that. When I first took the reins as National Commander in Reno last August, I spoke about DA's mission of service and the importance of using our collective voice of more than 1 million members to advocate for America's veterans and their families. Well, folks, this week across the river in our nation's capital, there is no better time or place. Americans, veterans, their families and survivors deserve nothing less than our absolute best efforts in pushing Congress to do the right thing by those who sacrifice. Luckily for them, DAV is the nation's premier veteran service organization, and that's because of you, the people in this room who have come to advocate on their behalf. This week and throughout the year, we will be addressing some very critical topics. As President Madison mentioned, that includes asking for the full and proper implementation of the VA Mission Act and sufficient VA funding for fiscal year 2020. We also need to stand by and secure benefits for Blue Water Navy veterans who were exposed to Agent Orange while serving off the shores of Vietnam, and our brothers and sisters of all eras who were exposed to toxins from burn pits. We will also continue our efforts fighting for improved services for women veterans and support for caregivers of veterans made ill during their service. But when you visit the congressional offices of your elected representatives later this week, I want you to make one thing clear, and that is that safeguarding and improving the VA is our #1 priority as veterans. Our first Commander-in-Chief, George Washington, said, "The willingness with which our young people are likely to serve in any war, no matter how justified, shall be directly proportional to how they perceive veterans of earlier wars were treated and appreciated by our nation." That, ladies and gentlemen, illustrates precisely why our nation's veterans must have a system accountable to them for the injuries and illnesses sustained in service to this nation. That is why we must remain active in conversations about veterans' issues and speak up collectively about our experiences. No one else can or will do it for us. Now, I want to take a moment to recognize some important people in the audience today. DAV service officers, nearly 4,000 strong, are the face of our charity to most, often the first impression a veteran has of our organization. They are out there every day, face to face with veterans, making an incredible impact on the men and women who served as well as the families. I would like to ask our National, Transition, Department, and Chapter Service Officers to stand and be recognized. Thank you all for your dedication to our fellow veterans. There are also so many of you out there who are so selflessly volunteering your time and giving back to your fellow veterans. That kind of dedication deserves a little recognition as well. So, all you volunteers, including our transportation network drivers and hospital service coordinators, please stand for a much-deserved round of applause. I'm always inspired by the giving nature of volunteers, but these men and women are a truly standout group. Thank you all. Another group of people I would like to recognize are the professional staff in both Cold Spring and Washington. They are constantly working to improve the programs and services we offer and to empower our local and state leaders with tools and resources so we can ensure our sacred charge to keep our promises to those who served. Mark Burgess, Barry Jesinoski, and Randy Reese, you have assembled a phenomenal team of professionals within the veterans advocacy arena, and the work you do is second to none. As veterans and members, we sincerely appreciate all the work these teams do in order to further the DAV mission. Thank you. And I want to thank some of our closest friends and allies. DAV has no better friend or closer ally than the DAV Auxiliary. Under the capable leadership of Auxiliary National Commander Ellen Timmerman and National Adjutant Pat Kemper. Your support is invaluable, and we are blessed to have such a devoted partner. For nearly a century, DAV has stood as the champion of veterans' causes. I can assure you that this year and in the years ahead, we will face many new trials. Your attention to the issues, your support in our advocacy campaigns, and your voices lending depth to our message have never been more important than they are now. We need you to be DAV's ambassadors. Take what you learn and experience here this week home with you. Spread the message and invite your fellow veterans to join us. It is through our ranks nationwide that we move closer to achieving our goals. Never forget the men and women we're fighting for. The veterans here in this room, the veterans in the long-term care and nursing facilities, the veterans coming home each and every day, making the difficult transition back to civilian life, and the service members currently overseas in harm's way. Let these men and women guide your daily efforts. The mission of service is never complete, and we owe our fellow injured and ill veterans the best DAV has to offer. More than anything, I have enormous confidence in what incredible talents you all bring to this organization. You all have my deepest thanks for your continued service to veterans and families. The people who get that done are in this room. I hope we'll march forward on behalf of DAV together. No one understands the concepts of service and sacrifice like we do. May we continue to succeed in our sacred and noble duty. May God bless DAV, and may God continue to bless the United States of America and the men and women who continue to stand the watch to defend her. Thank you. Keep up the good work, and go cause a ruckus this week.